Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we perform triage on the information overload and synthesize a stack of sources into the most high-impact, memorable knowledge designed for you, the learner.
And today, we are doing a deep dive into a modern polymath. I mean, a figure whose career trajectory is not just vast, but it feels strategically constructed to inhabit multiple, really demanding fields all at once.
Yeah, we're talking about Idrissa Elba.
A figure who, just completely defies any easy categorization.
That's the perfect way to put it. He's the star of prestige television. He's the villain in these huge blockbuster franchises. He's a global house music DJ headlining festivals.
A professional kickboxer.
A professional kickboxer. And now a Formula E team co-owner and a really serious social activist.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the variety that's astounding. It's the level of commitment he brings to every single one of those things.
Exactly. Tracking his career isn't just, an exercise in filmography or looking at his discography. It's really a masterclass in strategic professional diversification. So our mission today is to pull all of those threads together, from his early life as a Hackney DJ to becoming a knighted actor and a powerful industry builder, and really distill the crucial lesson here.
Which is, how does one person sustain this relentless, diverse output at the highest possible level?
And before we even jump into the history, the numbers alone are they demonstrate his global institutional impact. We're pulling straight from the sources here.
His films have grossed over $9.8 billion globally.
Wow.
$9.8 billion. That is a staggering metric of market power.
Absolutely. And his influence extends so much further than the box office. He was recognized by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people back in 2016.
And what's particularly relevant right now is his inclusion in the 2026 Power List.
Yeah, where he was named the UK's third most influential Black person.
I think we need to pause on that Power List point, because for listeners, outside the UK, the Power List isn't just some casual ranking.
No, not at all. It's a serious metric of soft power. The list ranks the UK's most influential people of African, African-Caribbean, and African-American heritage.
So being ranked third.
It signals that his impact is seen as structural, that he's influencing policy, culture, and business within the nation. It's a big deal.
So our ultimate mission for you, the listener, is structural. We are unpacking the methodology.
Yeah.
How does someone manage simultaneous, incredibly demanding parallel careers, acting, music, sports, production, high-level activism, without, experiencing some catastrophic failure in any single area?
Where does that drive come from?
Let's unpack this right from the very start.
Okay, so we begin with the foundation, the crucible where this legendary work ethic was forged. Idrissa Elba was born on September 6, 1972, in the London borough of Hackney.
And his family background is so essential to understanding the man. He was the only child. His father, Winston Elba, was Sierra Leonean, and his mother, Eve, was Ghanaian.
Mm-hmm. They were married in Sierra Leone before they immigrated to London.
And that dual West African heritage, combined with being raised in working-class London, specifically Hackney and East Ham, that must have created such a unique cultural triangulation.
Oh, for sure. It informed his identity and, later provided this deep reservoir of inspiration for his artistic and philanthropic projects, especially those related to the continent.
It was during his school days in Canning Town that he first really got into performance and made a simple change that just stuck.
Right. He shortened his first name to Idris, the name that would become, globally recognizable.
But the path to acting, it wasn't straightforward. It definitely wasn't financially guaranteed. The sources highlight this one moment of early, really critical support.
He left school in 1988, but he developed this deep passion for acting and actually won a place in the prestigious National Youth Music Theatre. This opportunity, however, was totally contingent on him securing funding.
And that funding came from such a pivotal source, the Prince's Trust. He secured a crucial grant for £1,500. That amount, which seems so small in retrospect, was literally the key that unlocked his future.
And that is what makes his later involvement so compelling. It creates this powerful, virtuous circle. He later became an anti-crime ambassador for that very same charity, the Prince's Trust.
So he didn't just use the opportunity.
No, he actively worked to ensure others could benefit from similar support.
That's the definition of paying it forward. But, before the paychecks got large, he was a working man. He wasn't just relying on an acting grant, he was hustling to support himself.
Absolutely. Our sources paint a really clear picture of the sheer physical necessity of work. He cycled through a variety of odd jobs that gave him this real working-class grounding.
Like tire fitting, cold calling.
Yeah, and significantly, working night shifts at the Ford Dagenham plant. And that's a direct physical connection to his heritage, following in the footsteps of his father, Winston, who also worked there.
That contrast is just phenomenal. He was wearing the high-visibility vest and steel-toed boots by night, and at the same time, building the identity of Big Dries on the side.
This is it. This is the structural origin of his parallel career model.
It's so early.
Astonishingly early. His music career begins in 1986 when he was just 14, helping his uncle run a wedding DJ business.
And within a year, he was ambitious enough to start his own DJ company with his friends.
Right. And throughout his adolescence, he was working in London nightclubs under the stage name Big Dries.
So his working life wasn't just before acting. It was running concurrently with his artistic life. He was balancing industrial labor, the physical strain of night shifts at a manufacturing plant, with the high-energy, socially demanding world of a nightclub DJ.
That experience must have instilled the discipline needed to manage two wholly separate high-stakes domains.
It taught him that he didn't have to choose one or the other.
Exactly. He realized he could dedicate 100% of his effort to two different paths, a lesson that carried right through his entire adult career.
The screen role started pretty modestly after that.
Yeah, notably his early appearances in Crime Watch murder reconstructions. A humble but consistent start.
He moved into more structured British television in the mid-90s, appearing in the Boot Street Band in 1994. The following year brought his first significant recurring role in the medical drama Bramwell.
He played Charlie Carter.
And, in a totally different vein, also in 1995, he secured his first named role as a gigolo on the iconic British comedy.
Absolutely fabulous.
Right, he was already showing that capacity for dramatic intensity and then this lighthearted comedy right next to each other.
He had a string of consistent supporting British TV roles after that. Family Affairs, The Bill, Ultraviolet. But you get the sense the ceiling felt kind of low in the UK at that time.
So despite having a burgeoning career, he took a calculated risk and in his early 20s just packed up and moved to New York City to pursue acting further.
That decision really underscores his ambition, leaving stability for the anonymity and fierce competition of the American market.
And while he was there, he didn't stop working. He landed crucial stage work, like playing Achilles in a New York stage production of Shakespeare's Troilus and Cressida in 2001.
And here's where that calculated risk pays off, just spectacularly. After a supporting turn on an episode of Law & Order in 2002, he landed the character that would not only define him in the U.S., but also, you could argue, fundamentally change the landscape of prestige television.
The defining breakthrough.
Stringer Bell in the HBO series The Wire, which ran from 2002 to 2004. This remains arguably his single most important role in the United States.
It cemented his reputation as an actor capable of just immense intellectual depth and this quiet menace.
What's so fascinating about Stringer Bell is that the sources consistently highlight the character's intellectual paradox. He was a drug lord, yes, but he was attending business administration classes.
Right, trying to impose corporate efficiency and market logic onto this brutal street operation.
Exactly. He brought a business school sensibility to the drug trade, which made the character unique and, frankly, terrifying.
He wasn't just the muscle or the typical villain. He was a dark entrepreneur using academic theory to perfect crime.
And that performance immediately set him apart from pretty much all of his contemporaries.
That role just catapulted him from being a supporting British actor to a major international talent in the span of just 2 years. It was the launching pad for everything that followed.
The momentum from The Wire was immediate. It gave him this powerful entry point into U.S. media. But what truly solidified his global prestige and showed his commitment to his roots was his return to British television for a defining lead role.
Let's talk about the television reign and the massive awards that followed the character of DCI John Luther.
Yes. Luther in the BBC One crime series, which ran from 2010 to 2019, was his cultural home run. It allowed him to explore a character of incredible thematic darkness.
A brilliant, volatile detective constantly battling that line between right and wrong, obsessed with these incredibly complex cases.
And the industry recognized that commitment. This role earned him the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor miniseries or television film in 2012.
Which is huge. And it secured him 4 separate nominations for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor. It just demonstrated to the world his capability to anchor a complex, emotionally taxing drama for years.
That capacity for complexity was evident in his other television work, too. Back in 2005, he played Captain Augustin Muganza in Sometimes in April, an HBO film about the Rwandan genocide. That subject matter required immense emotional restraint and gravity.
And then, showing that incredible versatility, he pops up on American network comedy.
Playing the intensely rigid Charles Minor, the regional manager rival to Michael Scott, for 6 episodes, and the season finale of NBC's The Office in 2009.
That was such a perfect counterpoint to Luther. While Luther was chaos barely contained, Charles Minor was pure corporate efficiency.
The ultimate straight man. He just crushed the quirky Dunder Mifflin office with pure, unfeeling structure. It showed he could pivot completely between British intensity and American corporate satire.
And his dramatic accolades just kept stacking up on TV. He received an Emmy nomination for his guest role in the Showtime comedy drama series The Big C in 2011.
And even more recently, the streak continues. Proving he's still mastering the prestige limited series format, he landed an Emmy nomination for his leading role in the Apple TV Plus thriller Hijack in 2024.
He consistently finds success across every network and every platform you can imagine.
Okay, now let's pivot to the arena where that massive $9.8 billion global gross comes from, the high-octane, big-screen blockbuster career. His film choices post-Wire were not random at all.
No, there were strategic moves to build diverse audience appeal. Let's start with the biopics, which really highlight his dramatic weight.
He portrayed the iconic Nelson Mandela in Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom in 2013. This was an intensive, high-pressure role, playing one of the most recognizable figures of the 20th century.
And the dedication he brought to that role is detailed in the sources, and it really speaks to his preparation method.
As part of his immersion, he spent a night locked in a cell alone on Robben Island, where Mandela himself was imprisoned.
That isn't just research. That's a physical, psychological commitment to understanding confinement and isolation.
And that kind of commitment led to a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. It cemented his reputation as a serious, dedicated, dramatic actor, even as he was simultaneously becoming this massive action star.
His critical acclaim reached even further heights with his portrayal of a ruthless and charismatic warlord in the Netflix drama Beasts of No Nation in 2015.
That performance, which required speaking in an accent and carrying just immense gravitas, earned him a Screen Actors Guild Award, a SAG, plus nominations for both a BAFTA and a Golden Globe.
So he's excelling in these intense, auteur-driven dramatic roles, but at the same time, he's jumping between the biggest, most complex cinematic universes out there. He really mastered the art of being a cinematic universe jumper.
And this is where we link back to that structural lesson. By securing roles in these massive, high-visibility franchises, he guaranteed visibility and massive financial success.
Which fundamentally frees him up to take artistic risks in the music world or in smaller, niche, dramatic films.
Exactly. It's strategic risk management. On the Marvel side, he played Heimdall, the stoic, all-seeing guardian of Asgard, in 6 Marvel Cinematic Universe films, starting with Thor in 2011. He was the anchor connecting Asgard to Earth across multiple sagas.
Which is steady, high-grossing work for a decade.
And then he made the unprecedented leap to the rival universe. He played Robert Milton Dubois, or Bloodsport, in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad in 2021.
That is a rare and powerful feat, transitioning from a major MCU role to a leading role in the DC Extended Universe. It speaks volumes about his bankability and the breadth of his appeal.
And he also anchored major science fiction and action films outside of the comic book realm. He was Stacker Pentecost in Pacific Rim, Captain Janek in Ridley Scott's Prometheus,
The villain Crawl in Star Trek Beyond, and the villain Brixton Lore in Fast and Furious Presence, Hobbs and Shaw.
He truly embraced the blockbuster life, even taking on the challenge of a Stephen King adaptation, playing Roland Deschain in The Dark Tower in 2017. He has a foot in every genre, ensuring his visibility is never tied to a single studio or type of film.
And we absolutely cannot overlook his immense success as a voice actor specialist. This highlights another form of incredible range where the power of his voice alone carries massive animated franchises.
His voice is so distinctive and authoritative. He was Chief Bogo, the Cape Buffalo Chief of Police, in Disney's Zootopia in 2016.
And that same year, he voiced the iconic and villainous tiger Shere Khan in the live-action The Jungle Book.
Giving the character this smooth, terrifying menace. He was also the sea lion fluke in Finding Dory.
And most recently, he has connected with the gaming and youth culture audience by taking on the fan favorite but extremely volatile character, Knuckles the Echidna.
Right, that started with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in 2022. He has since reprised this role in the self-titled solo series Knuckles and is scheduled to return for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Both of those are due out in 2024. That is serious dedication to a character and a franchise that requires a very specific, gruff energy.
Moving into his more recent career, we see him shifting gears slightly, not just acting, but shaping projects. His directorial debut was with the film Yardie in 2018.
And his adaptability to new media is equally impressive. In 2023, he voiced and provided his likeness for the character Solomon Reed in the Phantom Liberty expansion of the massive video game Cyberpunk 2077.
That's a huge market, and he just embraced it fully.
But the roles coming up in 2025 are incredible. A simultaneous political doubleheader that is almost unheard of and just perfectly reflects his unique geopolitical celebrity status.
It truly captures the zeitgeist of his global standing. In 2025, he is slated to play the Prime Minister of the UK in Heads of State.
And at the same time, the President of the United States in the Catherine Bigelow nuclear war thriller, A House of Dynamite.
That dual casting, I mean, playing the two most powerful heads of government in the Western world in the same year is a powerful symbol of his transatlantic dominance.
And just to prove he hasn't forgotten the fan-favorite genres, he's also cast as Duncan, Man-at-Arms, in the Amazon Prime Masters of the Universe movie in 2024. This segment alone just shows the man is everywhere, across every genre, platform, and continent, simultaneously maintaining multiple identities.
This next section is where we truly understand the structural complexity of his life. We have to move past the screen career entirely and examine the areas that, for any other person, would be a soul-consuming full-time job.
Right. Let's start with the foundational element, the music career of DJ Big Drice.
I think we need to reiterate this point. This wasn't a celebrity side project designed for quick cash. This was his first deep love, starting in his teenage years, and it continues to this day.
He performs as a DJ, rapper, and singer, specializing in a wide, diverse range of genres: hip-hop, R&B, dance, Afro house, and Latin house.
And his early music work proves his long-standing commitment. In 2006, he recorded the four-song EP Big Man. A significant early career nod came in 2007 when he not only co-produced but also performed on the intro to Jay-Z's album American Gangster.
That's not background noise. That's major league hip-hop collaboration.
And he was DJing major international events as far back as 2007, spinning for the NBA All-Star parties in Las Vegas.
That logistical demand, flying across the Atlantic from filming duties to play a massive set, it just shows the commitment to maintaining both careers.
He also extended his creative talents to the visual side of music. He directed and performed in the Mumford & Sons music video for Lover of the Light in 2012. He views his creative output holistically,
whether it's for a TV show, a movie, or a music video.
One of his most personal and ambitious musical projects was the 2014 album Idris Elba Presents Me Mandela. This album was a passion project dedicated to the late South African leader, and it blended his musical sensibilities with his philanthropic leanings.
And this is where the structural complexity of managing a large, high-profile career can sometimes lead to conflict, as it did with The Play Tree, which was based on the concepts from that Me Mandela album.
Right. Tell us about the dispute surrounding Tree, which premiered in 2019 at the Manchester International Festival.
The play was initially billed as created by Idris Elba and Kwame Kwei-Armah. However, in July 2019, this sparked a major public dispute.
Two writers, Tori Allen Martin and Sarah Henley, claimed they were removed from the production under questionable circumstances after working on the project for 4 years.
They detailed to media outlets that they had been brought in initially by Elba to develop his idea for a musical based on the album, a project on which Tori Allen Martin had also contributed musically.
The claims they made were specific. They detailed their creative input, which included extensive research, script writing, and even coming up with the play's title.
And when Kwame Kwei-Armah joined the project in 2018 and subsequently rewrote part of their material, they alleged they were gradually pushed out.
Crucially, they claimed they were threatened with legal action if they spoke publicly about their removal and lack of credit.
That's a high-stakes, nuanced disagreement over authorship in the creative process. How did Elba and Kwei-Armah respond to these pretty serious claims?
Well, both Elba and Kwei-Armah published rebuttals, primarily on Twitter, refuting the specific claims made by the writers. They asserted that while the writers had contributed early material, the final production, which was substantially different, required the authorship that was ultimately credited.
So the core issue remains a publicly documented dispute over credit, which, often happens when a high-profile celebrity brand drives a project that begins with grassroots collaboration.
It provides a necessary, nuanced look at the administrative and collaborative complexities of maintaining a multifaceted brand. But despite that controversy, his musical momentum have continued to accelerate. He's expanding his genre collaborations dramatically.
Exactly. He collaborated with the legendary Paul McCartney on a high-profile remix of the track Long-Tailed Winterbird, pivoting it toward a more electronic, danceable sound.
And showing incredible cross-genre exploration, he collaborated with the Australian pop-rock duo Lime Cordiale on the EP Sir Elba in 2022. He is constantly seeking out new musical partners.
And this commitment to gaming platforms also extended to his music. We already mentioned his voice work in Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, but his musical tracks Chokehold and Roller Coaster were featured on the in-game radio stations.
Yeah, and not only that, he performed an hour-long DJ set with private press specifically for the game's soundtrack.
And in 2024, we saw him take the next step in his entrepreneurial music journey by launching his own label, Sound International.
And the inspiration for that connects directly back to the very origins of Big Drace, citing his uncle's legendary 1980s London sound system.
What's the mission statement for Sound International? It sounds like more than just a standard record label.
It's globally focused and built around unity. The label aims to showcase diverse house music talent from around the world, with the explicit goal of signing records from every single country to promote global unity and the fundamental freedom embedded within the house music genre.
It's tying his artistic passion directly to a broader social and geographic concept.
Now, let's pivot entirely from mixing boards to competitive combat, the world of fighting.
Kickboxing is probably the most shocking element of his career, a test of physical dedication that goes far beyond a film role.
It's the ultimate proof that his commitment to a subject, once engaged, is total, non-negotiable, and physical. Discovery Channel produced a documentary, Idris Elba, Fighter, which chronicled his 12 months of intense kickboxing and mixed martial arts training under Muay Thai coach Kieran Kettle.
And this wasn't just a fitness journey or training for a cinematic stunt. The sources confirm that this year-long, rigorous training regimen culminated in his first professional kickboxing fight on August 28, 2016.
And he won, which is the astonishing part.
Yeah.
He fought Lionel Graves, described as a younger, more experienced Dutch opponent, at London's York Hall. At 44 years old, he secured the win via TKO in round 1.
That is an extraordinary physical feat, showcasing an absolute physical discipline that few actors or celebrities in any field would ever undertake. He didn't just train, he professionally competed.
It shows that if he's going to do something, he commits to achieving the highest possible standard, whether that's a Golden Globe nomination or a TKO victory.
The third pillar of this polymath structure is motorsport and speed. This connects back to his roots in the mechanics and industrial environment of the Ford Dagenham plant. But now, it's about breaking records and building businesses.
The car obsession is clearly very real. In 2015, as part of his miniseries Idris Elba, No Limits, he achieved a major historical feat. He broke the land speed record for the Pendine Sands Flying Mile course in a Bentley.
That is serious, old-school record-breaking, conducted on an internationally recognized course. It shows his interest in speed, mechanics, and pushing limits.
He's not just a driver, he's a record setter.
And moving from the physical act of driving to the high-stakes boardroom of motorsport investment, in 2025 he invested in Kiro Raceco, a team competing in the FIA Formula E World Championship, taking on an ownership role.
This is a shrewd business move. Formula E is the world's premier electric car racing series. It's high-tech, forward-looking, and sustainable. By investing, he's engaging with motorsports as both a competitor and an entrepreneur.
Securing a stable, non-acting asset while aligning his brand with cutting-edge technology. This whole section demonstrates that he does not view his celebrity as a limitation.
He views it as a license to try anything at the highest possible level.
The key takeaway here is that the ability to multitask is not just about scheduling. It's about shifting mindsets, from the creative flow of DJing to the physical danger of the ring, and then immediately into the complex strategy of Formula E investment.
We've established the depth of his artistry and athletic pursuits. Now we have to analyze the final crucial element of his professional structure. how he channels that incredible influence into global production infrastructure and serious social and political activism.
This is how he leverages the platform he has strategically built.
Exactly. Starting with production, this is the future of his business empire, designed to create a legacy outside of acting. His company, Green Door Pictures, is his main production vehicle, and it signed a first-look deal with Apple to produce original content.
And he and his wife, Sabrina Dower, are already developing ambitious projects that merge genre content with social commentary. They are working on an Afrofuturist adult animated sci-fi series, tentatively titled Dantai, for Crunchyroll.
That show sounds structurally important. It focuses on the major contemporary issue of the biotech gap between the haves and have-nots.
So that suggests prestige content, with a powerful social conscience built right into the narrative structure.
It does, and Elba noted that the series is mainly the brainchild of his wife, Sabrina, whom he described as a super geek when it comes to anime.
That highlights the deeply collaborative and entrepreneurial nature of their partnership. He also expanded his internal production footprint in 2024, launching a new production company called 22 Summers with Deanne Petteril.
The international ambition is just vast, especially his targeted focus on developing infrastructure on the African continent. This goes far beyond just filming on location.
It's about nation building.
Absolutely. We learned that in August 2024, he received official approval from the Tanzanian government to establish a major film studio in Zanzibar. The explicit aim is to create Zollywood.
So he's positioning himself not just as a star, but as a major player in developing East African cinema infrastructure, providing jobs, and fostering local talent.
This brings us to his role as a campaigner. While his creative work is broad, his social and political activism is laser-focused and intense, particularly regarding the anti-knife crime campaign in the UK.
This is deeply personal, connecting right back to his Hackney roots.
This has been a major ongoing focus for him. He used his artistic platform to amplify the message, releasing the song Knives Down in January 2024, featuring UK rapper DB Maz.
Explicitly tying his music career to this social campaign.
And he is engaging directly with policy and governance, utilizing his soft power. In 2024, he attended the UK government's inaugural Knife Crime Summit alongside Prime Minister Keir Starmer and the Home Secretary.
And he wasn't there just to lend his face. He was advocating for comprehensive, measurable action over mere discussion.
Our sources confirm he insisted on including diverse, crucial perspectives: parents, youth workers, and law enforcement. He believes the solution requires a holistic, community-focused approach, not just punitive measures.
The coalition, which includes his Elba Hope Foundation, has set an incredibly ambitious target for policy advocacy: to halve knife crime across the UK over the next decade.
That is high-stakes, long-term policy work that requires sustained political engagement.
And he has made some suggestions designed to provoke serious policy discussion around domestic safety.
Yes, in 2025, he suggested practical measures, including banning specific weapons like ninja swords and, more drastically, suggesting the removal of the points from kitchen knives to reduce fatalities during domestic or street conflicts.
That's certainly raising the stakes on domestic safety measures, suggesting radical change to everyday items. Beyond UK policy, his activism has a necessary global reach, too.
He collaborated with the UK Parliament and the Secretary of State for International Development, Justine Greening, in 2014, specifically in efforts to eradicate Ebola from West Africa, drawing on his deep cultural connection to the region.
He also used his platform to address fundamental industry issues that affected his own career path. In 2016, he addressed the UK Parliament directly regarding the pervasive lack of diversity on screen.
Concerning race, gender, and sexuality. His famous quote from that address stands out as a critical reflection. "Change is coming, but it's taking its sweet time."
Politically, the sources note he has taken public stances on major national decisions, voicing clear support for the UK to remain in the European Union during the divisive 2016 referendum.
He is clearly not afraid to take public, potentially controversial stances on major national and international issues.
Finally, we must summarize the weight of his personal accolades and recognition. He's been married 3 times, most recently to Canadian model and businesswoman Sabrina Dower, whom he married in Marrakesh in 2019.
He has a daughter from his first marriage and a son with English makeup artist Nyana Garth.
And he has received the highest honors from the UK establishment, distinguishing his contribution to both arts and society. He was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in 2016 for services to drama.
Then, showing recognition for his activism in the 2026 New Year honors, he was knighted, Knight Bachelor, for services specifically to young people.
Sir Idris Elba.
He's also been recognized for his sheer charisma and cultural profile, named Essence's Sexiest Man of the Year in 2013 and People's Sexiest Man Alive in 2018.
For personal interests, he is a lifelong supporter of Arsenal FC and revealed in 2025 that he had stopped eating meat approximately 6 months prior.
He considers himself spiritual but not religious, reinforcing that sense of self-driven structure and discipline.
This deep dive has spanned decades. It's covered half a dozen separate industries and detailed a strategic career built on relentless output. What is the final synthesis here? How do we wrap our minds around the structural breadth of Sir Idris Elba's accomplishments?
The big picture synthesis is that his success is rooted entirely in the structure of his early life. The sources illustrate a man who learned early how to manage two demanding, wholly separate careers, working factory night shifts at Ford Dagenham and running his own high-energy DJ company, Big Driss.
And he simply scaled that dual career model for his entire adult life.
Exactly. He views acting as a massive career, but he deliberately structured his life so that it was never his sole identity or source of income, which gave him immense creative freedom.
He leveraged that early hustle and the financial security of Hollywood to fuel simultaneous high-level careers in the creative arts, entrepreneurship like the Formula E investment, and serious activism.
His recent focus is on building things: films, music labels, studios, social coalitions. The desire to create Zollywood in Zanzibar through Green Door Pictures is the ultimate expression of leveraging a personal platform to secure a structural legacy outside of traditional Hollywood boundaries.
And for you, the learner, who is always looking for that aha moment of innovation derived from personal insight, we found one final powerful nugget that ties back to the intersection of personal struggle and industry innovation.
We learned that Elba has dyslexia.
That is a staggering logistical barrier for an actor. His job is fundamentally built around interpreting dense, multi-page scripts under intense time pressure for auditions and table reads.
It is, but instead of allowing that challenge to define him or limit his work, the sources note that he countered this difficulty by helping to develop an innovative tool that allows for audio script reading.
So he recognized that the traditional reliance on paper reading created an unnecessary bottleneck for him.
He didn't just solve a personal problem. He innovated a solution that benefits an entire industry by making the craft of acting more accessible. This tool fundamentally changes the time pressure and accessibility required to prepare for a role, especially for those who struggle with reading speed.
The final provocative thought for you to mull over is this. Look at the most significant personal challenges or unique learning obstacles you face in your own professional life.
Could addressing that very personal challenge through innovation or technology lead directly to a new solution that benefits entire fields or industries, just as Elba's dyslexia led to a new, more accessible way for actors to engage with their craft?
That is the ultimate creative hustle, turning a weakness into a universal solution. Thank you for diving deep with us.
We appreciate you tuning in.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.